Good morning. I hope you guys are well. I hope you slept peacefully and you got rest. I know a lot of people sleep, but they don't get rest. They wake up every morning tired, drained, because their subconscious mind is constantly at work while they're trying to sleep and trying to rest, thinking about their debt problems, thinking about their relationship problems, worried about their kids, worried about other things. Just to help a little bit, if you can, when you're sleeping, try and make sure that your room is as dark as possible. If it means getting dark curtains or some way to keep out light, please do that. If it helps you to maybe get those eye covers so that you can sleep, those that some people use when they're flying, please get those as well. Make sure that there's silence in the room. Switch off your phone if you can, put it on silent. Don't have things buzzing and making noise outside, and get rest. Rest is fundamentally important because even if you sleep for 4 hours, if you got good enough rest, you wake up very refreshed and ready to attack the day. So I hope you guys got good rest. I hope you're healthy this morning. For those of you that eat breakfast, I hope you enjoyed breakfast. For those of you that wake up in the morning just like I do and do your push-ups and your squats and your calf raises, I hope that your body's feeling refreshed, rejuvenated. For those of you that run and jog, lift weights in the morning, hit the treadmill. I hope you guys are feeling fresh this morning. Last night, I had a bit of an argument on Twitter with some chairperson of the ANC, and I found myself getting so emotional and so angry. And I was thinking, maybe if the ANC wins in 2024, I need to consider leaving this country. One of the things I don't like about the current democratic system we have in this country is that you're forced to be ruled by people you didn't vote for. It's not unique to South Africa, of course. It's the type of democracy that's used around the world. What frustrates me is that, let me put it this way. Number one, the ANC has done a lot of good work historically. I've been a big fan of the ANC. I've been a supporter and a defender of the ANC for years. The number of RDP homes they've built, the number of roads they've built, the number of children they've put through school, children that they've fed, families that they've fed, businesses that they've funded, given subsidies to, the number of workshops they've given in agriculture, the number of seeds and feed they've given to small-time farmers, the amount of land they passed on to people, some of the infrastructure that they've built, NSFAS funding. So thanks to them, a lot of kids are graduates today and work in good jobs. But we all know that they could do so much better. And the reason they're not is because they're highly distracted. Number one, a lot of the ANC leaders were co-opted by apartheid and colonization beneficiaries to get BEE shares and focus on making money. It was noble in the beginning. Let's try and get as many black people as possible to be involved in the economy so that in the future we have a transformed economy, and these black people can then filter that wealth down to their own black people that are poor, that are middle class, create jobs, invest in the communities. Unfortunately, a lot of these black people were not black conscious. They weren't really about giving back. Instead of maybe staying in the townships and uplifting the townships, they went and they moved to the suburbs. They went and they sent their kids to top private schools, and they've tried as much as possible to avoid paying tax, evade paying tax. They've made sure that they don't create jobs and they automate. They move some of their money offshore to other countries. So it's become very disheartening. Of course, we can't not mention the corruption. Constantly fighting over tenders, constantly fighting over budgets, constantly fighting over positions. Members that are killing each other for positions. So we know that the ANC government and the government in general, not just the ANC, the Democratic Alliance is in government. They may be an opposition party, but they are in government. So is the EFF. They may not be the ruling party, they may not sway the votes in parliament, but they have a voice and they have a role to play. The ANC could have done much better, but they've done a lot of good work. Where we are right now, the ANC is involved in internal squabbles. RET versus WMC, Radical Economic Transformation versus White Monopoly Capital. Cyril versus Ramaphosa. Thabo Mbeki versus Jacob Zuma. Taliban's versus the Ankole. In Johannesburg now, we've obviously got David Makura versus Panyaza Lesuf. We've got the Alexandra Mafia. Paul Mashatile, Lebogang Maile. I'm not sure who I'm leaving there. Versus some of the other guys. They're not focused on serving the people. Service is not top of mind. A lot of them send their kids to top Model C schools, if not private schools. A lot of them use private healthcare. They have medical aid. So when you speak about public hospitals, when you speak about public schools, poor public schools, they don't know what you're talking about. When you talk about life ekasi, They only go to ekasi on the weekends when they're going to drink, go to car washes, go to amashisanyam. They have become detached from the people they're meant to serve. They don't know your problems. Their problems is, I don't know where I'm going to play golf this weekend. Or my child is going to play at their school. Or I'm meeting up with my friends at a cigar lounge somewhere. Konka, Cubania. Those are some of the places that these guys are at, constantly drinking, constantly finding girls and fucking girls. And some of these ANC cater girls are up there with their fucking booties for sale, trying to find the most influential guy within the circles that they can fuck, fall pregnant and have their kids and try and nail this nigga down so that they can be seen as the Winnie Mandelas of tomorrow. But they're not. They're not into service. They're not doing social work. They're not doing charity work. They're not running soup kitchens. They're not fundamentally empowering women on the ground. They just want to be seen as ANC Duke wearing cadres. Chief, hey, commander, how are you doing? Because they want administrative jobs as receptionists, as procurement officers, so that they can sleep with the right guys and make money. And hopefully sooner rather than later, one of those guys will rescue them and they can go and be housewives somewhere. No service, no service, no public service. And it makes me sick. And I think if the ANC come 2024 wins again, why do I want to be here? Before the ANC took over in 1994, we had what was called a constituency democracy. That meant within a certain area, you'd vote for a person and that person would go to parliament. It wouldn't matter which political party they aligned to. And at any given time, they could switch political parties. But it wasn't party politics like we have now, where you vote for a political party and they get to decide who gets to sit in parliament. Maybe someone you hate, Cyril, Fikile Mbalula, Naledi Pandor, Begitele, Didi Mabuza, Ace Magashule, Jacob Zuma. Someone you don't like, Batabile Dlamini, Lindiwe Sisulu. But because you voted for the party, and mind you, you probably voted for the party for historical reasons, could have voted for the party because they built you guys an RTP back in the day, because of legacy, or because you just don't want white people to run the country again. So you won't vote DA. But those people don't care about that. There's bribes, tenders promised, BEE shares promised, so that the right people can sit in positions and make sure that they control the purse, so that their friends can eat, so that they can eat. So it makes me very, very sad. I wish whoever I voted for, I would then have to live in a neighborhood that is ruled by those people I vote for. If I vote for Gayton McKenzie, I get to live maybe in the central Karoo, where he then is our leader. And whatever economic activity, he runs it. If I vote for Julius Malema, I have to live in a Malema area, and he has to live there as well. So I'm not going to live in Hyde Park like he's living now, a DA neighborhood, or Hyde Park Sandhurst like Cyril Ramaphosa stays, or Nelson Mandela, who was staying in Houghton, or Thabo Mbeki, who lives in Saxonwold. They live with their people that voted for them. They're not living with people that didn't vote for them. They're not sending their kids to schools where those schools are run by people that they didn't vote for. ANC leaders, ANC members, EFF leaders are in these public schools, these horrible schools, these horrible clinics and hospitals. And your same leaders are going to speak about white monopoly capital and apartheid and colonization and the white man. There they are, living with the same white man, having their pension funds sitting in the same white monopoly capital companies, having their shares and their friends there. Julius Malema went to Spain, Ibiza, to go to the wedding of Adriano Mazzotti's daughter. He says, that's my friend. What's wrong with me seeing my friend? I didn't join politics to be poor. Hashtag or CC Smuts Ngonyama of the ANC, who said the same thing. I didn't join politics to be poor. So because Julius has got one rich white friend, that's fine. What happens when he's got 20, like Nelson Mandela? What happens when he's got 50, like Thabo Mbeki? What happens if he's got rich Indian friends like Jacob Zuma? No, those are my friends. Is it wrong to have friends and to support my friends? So what if my friends are hosting their daughter's wedding in Dubai? Hypocrisy. Because he doesn't care about you. He cares about political power and he cares about making money for himself and the people within his circle. His kid goes to a private school. But then they want to speak about the people, the masses, while they earn fancy hundreds of thousands in salaries every month. It makes me sick because their focus is not on public service. Their focus is not on uplifting the people, educating the people, making sure that the people are upskilled and can become contributors. The ANC, the PAC, Umkhonto weSizwe, AZAPO, the IFP, many other black liberation movements were fighting for land. The fight was for land. Because once you have land, you can then start speaking economy. Because you can't mine without land. You can't farm without land. You can't build factories without land. You can't build schools and universities without land. You need the land. And then right after, apparently, the ANC won the struggle. Then it became about political freedom. It wasn't about political freedom. It was about land and the economy. Give the people the land and the economy, upskill them so that they can work the land and the economy and become contributors to this nation. Then everything else will sort itself out. But of course, a minority was co-opted. Nelson Mandela being the first. I mean, you look at myself. I've got white friends. Some of them are well off. How do I help my white friends lose business? How do I go out there and make sure that their businesses are dismantled and are split with other people? It's better for them to put me as a face. Oh, we've got Pen, our CEO, our chairman. He's a black guy. He understands. He cares about the people. So that means they don't have to share anymore. And I live with them in their neighborhood. My kids go to their schools. Creates a few nyana jobs for black people. Like Patrice Motsepe, we create smaller nyana BEE vehicles for the employees and the community. Rubbish. Those are the leaders we have. So I just found myself getting emotional and getting very sad and upset. And we need to find some type of solutions. Had a great interview yesterday on Glen Radio with Elvis. Some of you tuned in. Thank you very much. Speaking very much about penuelism, my religion, my belief system, some of my beliefs, some of the principles that are important to me there, and some of my thoughts around how education should be structured. I was highlighting, of course, to him that there's a difference between schooling and education. Schooling is an institution, it's a building. Education you can get from anywhere, and the internet has proven that. Education you can get from anywhere. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, you can get from your mom, your grandfather, the hobo down the street who has some kind of information and education that can help your life. Schooling is lost the plot. Angie Motsepe, obviously, Opanyaza Lesuf as the MEC in Gauteng. The schooling system is broken. That's why parents can't help their kids with homework. Because the education is not practical. What's the point of learning long division when we have calculators? When you can actually speak to your phone and it can calculate numbers for you. What's the point of learning long division? Why are you learning about osmosis? You can learn that when you specialize if you want to go into botany. Why are you learning about cumulonimbus clouds? I'm not going to become, I don't know if it's a meteorologist, but a weather person, climatologist. I don't need all that. What I need to learn is how money works, how to complete a tax return. I need to understand import and export, the fundamentals of running a country, the political system. I need to understand how to grow my own food, how to acquire land, how to build a strong family, how to ensure that my father is held accountable. Why is my father not around? Why did my mom dump me with my grandmother? I need to learn how to articulate myself and speak confidently to people in the world to get things done. Where can I access information? How can I access information? How do I search fundamentally on Google so that I can get the things I need? How do I travel the world and collaborate with other people to create things, create art, create music, create movies, write books, and fundamentally change the world? How do I solve the problems of my family and my community? School doesn't teach that. Teaches hollow maths, it's not even financial maths. Teaches science, the table of elements, which most of you have forgotten even today. Useless. Stupid little experiments that are cute. Oh, cool, it's smoking. So what? We're hungry at home. Learning accounting you'll never use. And maybe there are no jobs and you've got accounting software like Pastel and Sage. So why do we need accountants? We're not learning how the legal system works. How can I ensure that my brother gets fair justice and is not sleeping in jail? How do we rewire the legal system so that if you don't have money, you're not suffering? What is legal aid? How do I raise funding from the NEF, from CIFA, from the IDC? How do I become a contributor into this nation? How do I build? How do I develop property? Penuelism. I'm going to be meeting with some of my penuelists in Durban. I'm going to be spending more time meeting with some of my penuelists, followers of my belief systems. And then obviously I'm going to be hosting specified talks on various topics, educational talks that people can then pay for. We've got a lot to do. And I'm going to do my bit. I know I make noise on social media, but I am trying to influence people on the ground so that we can do amazing work. I hope that you'll be inspired. I'm really proud of you if you work hard, if you're contributing, And if you're not, please try and make means to collaborate with some of us so we can make a change to this world. Penuel the Black Pen. Have a great day, guys. I love you. Cheers.